Hey Starseeds, welcome back. So today we are going to be honoring the pumpkin. Why? Because it is the icon of Halloween, and since Halloween is tomorrow, I really wanted to make something really yummy and delicious and fall-like for you guys. So that means we're going to be making a Sri Lankan curry, and it is very, very delicious. And the star of the show is pumpkin or butternut squash. So let's get started. The first thing you're gonna need is coconut oil. And you're gonna need quite a generous amount because we are going to be adding in some cumin seeds, which are really great for digestion, guys. I'm adding in 1 tablespoon of cumin seeds, and then I'm gonna go ahead and add in half a tablespoon of mustard seeds. Now I'm only adding in half a tablespoon because they can get pretty bitter. So yes, just don't add too much of that, although it does add a lot of depth of flavor. Now we're gonna go ahead and add in some red and green chilies. So some red and green chilies in there. I love my curry spicy. For those of you who don't like spicy curry, you can totally leave this part out, but I think it really gives a nice kick to the curry. So also we're gonna be adding in 1 cinnamon stick, and make no mistake guys, we are gonna be adding more cinnamon powder later on, because I love cinnamon. 2 cloves of grated garlic. It's gonna go in. And also some lime leaves. So for those of you who don't have lime leaves, you could also use curry leaves if you have that on hand. Okay, so we're just gonna stir this around, and you might hear your seeds start to pop a little bit after a minute. That's totally fine. We're just going to mix all those flavors together. Okay, my kitchen is smelling incredible. Beautiful flavors. So what we're gonna do now is add in 1 red onion, so that is gonna go straight in. So give that a good mix. Now the onion is gonna need a little bit of time to cook, because the worst thing is making a curry and having crunchy onions in the curry. You really don't want that. You want to really cook your onions very, very well. And that might take up to about 10 minutes, and that is totally fine, as long as your onions are nice and soft and cooked through. So we're just going to mix this up. And now we're going to add in a whole lot of spices, honey. So starting with 1.5 tablespoons of curry powder. That's going straight in. A teaspoon of turmeric powder. We're doing a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. We are doing 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, as if we hadn't had enough cinnamon. We are doing a 1/2 teaspoon to 1 teaspoon of ginger powder. You could always use fresh ginger if you want to. I always prefer using freshly grated ginger, but I didn't have any on hand, so I used the powder. And also salt to taste. Now this is totally up to you. I'm only adding a teaspoon of salt right now. And then towards the end of when the dish is going to be ready, I usually just have a taste and see if it needs a little bit more. So now we're just going to mix all of this goodness together. And since the onions need a few minutes to cook, I am going to cook them for about 7 to 10 minutes, and then I'll see you guys in a little bit. Okay, so my onions have been cooking for about 8 minutes, and they are pretty tender at this point. And now what we're gonna do is add in the pumpkin or butternut squash. So I've got 6 cups of butternut squash here, and I'm adding it in. And I'm just going to make sure that I coat the pumpkin with all of this goodness, this paste that we've made. Did you guys know that pumpkin is actually really high in vitamin A? And the earliest evidence of pumpkin was actually in Mexico in 5,000 to 7,000 BC, which I think is pretty cool. And when I say that it's high in vitamin A, I do mean beta carotene, okay, not true vitamin A retinol. So when you combine fats with beta carotene, it's easy for your body to absorb the nutrients, okay? So that's why well, not the only reason why, but also because it's super delicious, to add in some coconut cream, okay? So what we're gonna do here is add in some super creamy organic. This is from Biona Organic, and it's coconut cream. It says rich and creamy for sauces. So this is gonna go straight in, if I can get it out. Now, oh! Perfect. So what we're gonna do is also add in, because we don't want our curry to be too thick, we're gonna add in a cup of water. So that's also gonna go in. So good. And we're just going to give that a nice mix. And what's gonna happen is we are going to cook the pumpkin or the butternut squash in this beautiful coconut broth for about 30 minutes. But before we do that, we are going to add in a lemongrass. So we're going to basically take off the outer layers of the lemongrass. So what you got to do is you got to take something that you can hit your lemongrass with. You need to bash it up good. Hope I don't ruin the countertop. Like so. Can smell that pungent smell. And what we're gonna do is fold it up and toss it into the broth. And this is gonna give a beautiful flavor. And now we're cooking this on medium to high heat. We're just going to partially cover the lid. And in 30 minutes, you will have something very delicious. But there's one very important ingredient left. So I'll see you guys in 30 minutes. So our curry is off the heat, but still there's steam bath. One ingredient that we need to add in, and this is gonna add in a lot of sweetness to it, and it's just going to mellow out some of those really spicy tones, and also a bit of the bitterness from the mustard seeds. So what I have here is coconut milk powder, not coconut flour. You don't want to use coconut flour in this. This is completely different than coconut flour. So use coconut milk powder. And what I'm going to do is just take, I'd say 3 or 4 tablespoons. And then you just want to give it a mix. Although it's probably a smart idea to use a sifter so that you don't get lumps in your curry. But I think I'm managing quite well. So I'm telling you guys, this is the magic ingredient. Please don't leave this out. Please don't skip this step, because it does add such a wonderful sweetness to this curry and complements all the other spices and flavors. Okay, so this looks amazing. Now, I also went ahead and made some roti, some homemade roti. For those of you who want to know how to make this recipe, please leave a comment down below and let me know if you are interested. And if so, if you are interested, I'll go ahead and make a whole video on how to make homemade roti. It's so delicious and so flaky. And for those of you who don't know what it is, it's just a homemade Indian flatbread, and it's absolutely to die for, and it just goes with this dish. I mean, I don't think you can have this dish without roti. So I'm just gonna put a couple of those pieces of bread, or not bread yet, actually dough, on the pan, and I'll see you guys back here in a second. So it's time to plate our curry, and I'm so excited. So we got our roti already here. We have our curry, which is still nice and hot. And remember, this lemongrass that we put in and the cinnamon stick, you can just go ahead and take that out, because obviously you're not going to be eating that. So, oh yeah. So the curry that I made today is not that thick. There's a lot of different kinds of curry you can make, but I like mine just slightly creamy and a bit runny, so that you can dip this wonderful roti in. So I'm gonna try it for you guys right now. Oh yeah. Oh, oh, it's so crispy and flaky. You hear that? That is good. And I'm just gonna dip it in a little bit, dip in the sauce. This is what food should taste like every single day. I do need a spoon. Actually, who needs a spoon? In Sri Lanka, they eat with their hands, so I'm just gonna do the same and get super messy. And I don't want any comments saying how, ew, she put her fingers in the food. Okay, so. Really good. I hope you guys make this. So this is one of my favorite curry recipes, and for those of you who've tried my vegan butter chicken recipe, I know that you all love that recipe, and this one, I feel like it equally matches that one. It's extremely delicious, I promise you, and I hope you guys make it for Halloween because there's pumpkin in it, or butternut squash. And I want to know if you would like for me to make a video on how to make these delicious rotis. They're absolutely amazing, especially when you like dip it in the curry sauce. Guys, the curry is really nice because it's kind of runny, but it's thick at the same time, and it's really good for dipping your bread inside, dipping the roti inside. And it's spicy, but it's also sweet because of the coconut and the coconut milk powder that we added at the end. A lot of flavors going on here, and it's absolutely delicious. So I hope you guys try this recipe. If you liked it, I hope you hit that like button, and if you loved it, subscribe to the channel, because you guys know that I'm here every single Wednesdays and Sundays giving you delicious plant-based recipes. So I'll see you guys next time.